Thank you for choosing our Patio Heat channel. I'm Steve. We provide tips and information to extend the enjoyment of your patio project. Our videos give you a knowledgeable overview prior to investing in your outdoor heating equipment. Whether you are a professional or owner-builder, we provide specific details for optimum heat coverage for your application. Post a comment or question, or for developed visual designs, send your request into designs@patioheat.com. We're here to work with you. For over 30 years, patio heating is the bedrock of our business, expressing what works best. Now let's get heating. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this raised patio deck here. I didn't put on the railings here at all, but there will be railings here. Let's go ahead and first look at the overall dimensions that I have. So overall dimensions I have here are 18 feet 4 inches. And I have that to the outer edge over here. Should probably mark up the inside edge over here. Let me just do that real quick. We'll go from here to here, and you can see 16 foot 8, and I have this at 1311. I know it said 14 foot 6 inches, I think it was, but that was based on this floor plan that I had. Let's just see if I can put that on here. And I know the wall comes out a little bit further than the actual dimensions that they showed on this side here. Same thing over here. You can see the dimensions come out a little bit further. I have this at 4 inches, 4 feet, and that's pretty much about it as far as the floor dimensions. We have a ceiling height they had mentioned at 16 feet off the finished floor of the deck. And then I have the top edge of these beams here at 10 feet off the finished floor. Now I'm not quite sure of the true slope of the ceiling itself. If I was to show kind of a X-ray type of thing, you can see that I have the inner edge here a little bit down further, about 36 inches from this point here down into here. And so that would be the finished ceiling height here. Again, is that 16 feet that I'm showing. Let me go ahead and turn that back off again. And yeah, that's pretty much about it as far as the overall dimensions. There's that 14 foot 8 on this side here going out to the outer edge again. I'm not sure how far this edge comes out, but I think I have it about either 14 or 12 inches out. And that's pretty much about it. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that off. And let me switch over here real quick, sorry. So basically they had stated that there's going to be 2 different seating positions. We got reclining position over here and a dining position over here. And I just placed a 4 seating table here. Also I placed a TV over here thinking that that's what they're going to have. They also have a fan shown in the drawing itself. Now I'm not sure exactly about the true height. I think this fan might even be a little bit lower. If I came and, let's just say, put it right in the center point of this beam here, that goes down another 10 inches than what I am showing already. So I'm not 100% certain of that, but I do have that placed in the center of the ceiling area that was shown on the ceiling plan that they had here. And it's going to be kind of tough to see, but you can see there's the position right there, and so that should be fine. Let me go ahead and turn that off here. That's about it. So now there's only one way that I could really come up with a decent footprint of heat for this position. I know in the winter months the temperatures do drop down quite sufficiently, probably like in the mid 30s to upper 50s during during the days and nights, and then they go to the 40s to 60s in other parts of the season. So what I'm going to show is placing some Infratech CD 6024. So this is a 6,000 watt 240 volt unit. You're also going to notice that I don't have it centrally located. I think I have it 12 inches off the center position here. And also there are 2 units. We have one on the wall over here and then one on the edge over here. The reason I'm not placing them over here on this edge over here is because of the fact that you know, we need to meet the clearances to the fan and also the clearance to this edge over here, which I can't fit a heater up against the ceiling area right there. And then I could put one over here, however, it still wouldn't heat up the whole entire space as well. Again, I have these at 12 inches off-centered. So if I was to show what the 12 inches off center would look like, or the center position would look like, it would look like something like this. And the reason I'm going to go ahead and show this is because I want you to see the footprint of heat here is thrown into, you know, the fireplace area a little bit more. And so I'd probably prefer, and we're not heating up the whole entire table. In fact, we most likely can't unless we place a heater over here. I'm not quite sure of how the ceiling looks over here. But if we move these two units over slightly, 12 inches to the right, or excuse me, to the left, we're getting a little bit more coverage over here, and we're not covering this area as much over here. Now this is what is known as infrared light waves. So it's a light wave that if you were, for instance, to be in the shadow of a structure. So let's just, you know, kind of take a look at this real quick. Here's the shadow over here. If you were standing in the shadow of the structure itself, you would not feel the warmth of the sun. But as soon as you stepped out into the sunlight, you would feel the warmth, even though the air temperature all around has not changed. And the same is true with infrared heaters, where the heater itself, or I should say the light wave itself, if you're physically in that light wave, and I'm going to just move this fireplace over here so we can kind of get a better look at where that footprint of heat is going to look like. But if we were to be in that light wave itself, we would feel the warmth of the light wave. But if we were to step over here, let's say, for instance, you would not feel that warmth whatsoever, because you're going to be in that cold air climate. And yeah, it wouldn't be comfortable. So you need to make sure that the positions that you're in and the position of the heater itself is in a spot that allows the light wave to penetrate that occupied space. And so with these two units here, and we could actually move, you know, this one up a little bit higher. Let's just say we go up 12 inches up higher, and we could physically move this up a little bit higher, but then we have an issue with regards to how to physically connect it to, you know, the ceiling or something of that nature, and that would be a problem. When the heaters are mounted on a vertical surface such as this, or a wall like this, we need to make sure that our clearance above the heater itself is at a minimum of 12 inches of clearance. And then also going back to the fan itself, you know, we need to make sure that we have the meeting the clearances to any combustible material. Let's say that this fan here is a wooden fan blade, that would be considered combustible. But if it was a steel fan blade, it would not be considered combustible. However, you don't want the ray to penetrate anything like a aluminum or something of that nature, because it would cause it to droop and dysfunction within a short period of time. But in any case, you can see raising this heater allows that footprint to be a little bit wider, and so yeah, it gives it a little bit better of a footprint of heat if you can do something like that. However, we're going to go ahead and move that back down to the 12 inches that I had, so you can get a good idea. The closer it is to you, the more intense that ray actually becomes. So that's another thing to think about is, you know, this is, I believe, was roughly about 9.5 feet off the finished floor. Let's go ahead and just take a quick measurement of that. Let's go back into, here we go. Sorry for the delay on that, but I want to go ahead and just mark down the center point here to the bottom of, or I should say the finished height of the floor. So we have that at, well, that's not true there either. Let's go ahead and try that one more time. We'll go from here to here, and we have that at 9 foot 6 inches. And I would say if you went any higher than 10 feet off the finished floor, the intensity is going to be a little bit less for especially a climate like this. So yeah, I kind of like that idea of having it at this 9 foot 6. And basically what I did here is I just brought it to the top edge of, and I made this beam 10 inches tall. I brought it to the top edge of that beam at a 30-degree tilt, and again centered the heaters and moved them 12 inches off to the left. Now we could go a little bit further, and I just want you to see this. If that with that fireplace in the way, this is go another 12 more inches, and you can see now we're covering this space here a little bit better. The visual aspect, however, isn't as wonderful, and so that's something else that we always have to take a look at is is that visual aspect sufficient enough? Now the other thing is, if this was a straight out, let's just take a quick line on this real quick if I can. I'm going to try to make this somewhat, see if I can do it differently here. Let's just say that this ceiling somehow is flush with this top edge over here. Could you place another unit within that span? You could do something like, maybe place a similar unit, visually similar, meaning like a 4,000 watt unit, or maybe even another 6,000 watt if you have a control system. Let's see if I can find it here real quick. Let's go with the 4,000 just for a minute, and I'll talk about the 6,000 and just a little bit here. But let's just say we put another unit, something like this, where we center it within this span here, and then go with the center point of the physical fan. Let's see if I can get in here. This is going to be just a quick kind of positioning of the heater itself. But if we did something like this, that would make this position much easier or comfortable. The doors shown that they go into the structure itself, and that's why I'm placing it here. If this door came out, then we would have some issues with regards to those clearances below here again. But with those doors going in, you could do something like this. And again, this is a 6,000, or excuse me, a 4,000 watt unit, where these are 6,000. They have dual 3,000 watt elements, and then you could actually move these two units. Let's see if I can grab those, and we could actually move those back that 24 inches, so they're back into the center of the patio structure itself, and it would be something like this, and that would give you excellent amount of heat for the entire space that's going to be occupied. So also, let me move this back in and just mention one other thing about let's see if I can get in the right spot. One other thing about this is the fact that you have 3 walls here basically, and then you also have a ceiling and a partial wall here, which blocks a lot of the air movement. So let's just say that the air movement comes from this direction around the structure. That would be great. Now if it came straight through this way, you'd want a little bit more heat, and that's why this would be a very nice alternative application. And lastly, I should just mention that infrared is light waves that is invisible to the human eye, and you will not see the light wave itself. Let me also do one other thing here. I'm just going to get this so it's a visual aspect of it, and that's not part of the structure reality here, but what I want you to see is looking out of this doorway here, you're not going to really concentrate on the visual aspect of the heaters themselves. They're up a little high. You know, when you look out from, you know, a doorway like this, you're going to pretty much look at the, you know, lower section here, as well as any plants or things of that nature. So it would be looking something like this from the inside here. And you know, even if you were kind of looking outside like this, I think that would be fine. So I just want you to kind of get an idea of what that would look like as well. So anyways, I think this would be an excellent application, and thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. If you're looking for some assistance with your outdoor heating application and you would like us to review your plans, send your information into designs@patioheat.com. I'm Steve, and please, if you tap that like button, it really helps our channel out. Also, feel free to make a comment, questions. That really helps our channel as well. And if you'd like to subscribe, that is one of the most excellent things we can get from you. Thank you very much. Have an excellent day.